Hello, this is Brad, and I am with Mid-Continent Public Library. Today, we are going to be looking at 5 helpful tips to keep in mind while you use the internet. We're going to look at some tips for using the internet on computers, and then also a couple things to consider when you are using the internet on your tablet or your smartphone. And when you're using the internet on your tablet or smartphone, this also includes apps that you might be using. Let's go ahead and get started. Our first tip is to look for security indicators in your address bar. When you are using the internet, you are going to be using a web browser. I am going to start by looking at Microsoft Edge, and so when I get this opened up, near the top of my web browser, I see my address bar. This is where I will enter any web address that I am trying to navigate to, or I might enter anything I am searching for. We want to be looking for this lock icon that we have right here, and also looking for this HTTPS. And so what these indicators mean is that the web page we are on is secure. The web page has security features in place that are going to keep us safe while we are on it. Just so you know, HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. Now, you don't need to remember all of those. Just remember that S equals secure. Depending on the web browser that you are using, you might only see a lock icon, or you may only see the HTTPS. That is perfectly okay. They both mean the same thing, and that means that the web page you are on is secure. And we can see when we are in Google Chrome, I don't see any HTTPS, I just see that lock icon. But if I do click into the address bar twice, I can see that I do have that HTTPS. They just hide it a little bit to shorten the web address name. So I am still good to go here in Google Chrome. This page is secure. And finally, here on Mozilla Firefox, we see a lock icon there, as well as the S within our HTTPS, letting us know this site is secure. Okay, now just because we currently see these two indicators on our page, that doesn't necessarily mean that every single web page on this website is going to be secure and having those indicators. It's possible I could be navigating to a page and all of a sudden I could see that the page I am on is not secure. If we are on a page within Mozilla that is not secure, their icon is a lock with a slash through it, letting us know the page we are on is not secure. And so anytime I see this and I see that the page I am on is not secure, I really want to be cautious, and more than likely I do not want to enter any sensitive information. Now, if I see this pop up on a web page and I'm not really entering any kind of sensitive information, I might be a little cautious, but it doesn't necessarily mean that your computer is going to get a virus or anything like that. But if you are entering any sensitive information, like your credit card number, your social security number, your birthday, or any other info that you don't want people to know about, always look for either that lock icon or that HTTPS. Anytime you enter sensitive information on a web page, you want to be seeing either one of those safety indicators. If I am in Microsoft Edge and I navigate to a web page that is not secure, I am actually going to get this icon up here and the little not secure notification. If we come across a page that is not secure in Google Chrome, we are going to see this indicator. So if I saw any of those not secure icons on a web page, I really wouldn't want to enter any personal or sensitive information. Our next tip is to clear cookies and your cache regularly. And now, we were just talking about entering information onto websites. When you enter your information or even just navigate around web pages, they are often saving this information using cookies. Cookies are kind of unavoidable because many websites won't let you use their site unless you accept them. Cookies are useful because they remember how you use a website, and that can help it load faster, and it can save your password information so you don't have to enter that each time you go to a website. On the other hand, you might not like that all these sites are keeping all this information and your browsing habits. Another downside of cookies is that they can slow your computer down. If you have all these websites keeping all this information about how you use them, it could actually make your web browsing experience a little bit slow. So in order to clear all that information and to potentially help your computer run faster, it is recommended that you clear your internet cache. Now, some people are very zealous with this and say you should clear your cache about once a month, but for a lot of people, that is a big ask. And that is because there's a big warning here. Every time you clear your cache, all your passwords that you've entered into a website will be cleared and you will need to re-enter those. So if you've logged into Amazon, Facebook, your email, any website that you use a lot and it saves your password, once you clear your cache, it is going to get rid of all of those and you're going to need to re-enter your password, which is not necessarily a bad thing as far as safety is concerned. That is making sure you are aware of your passwords, and that way you have more security. So let's go ahead and clear the cache. To do that, I am within Microsoft Edge, and I'm going up to these three dots up here, and then I'm going to go to History, and then I will click on History right here. That will bring this up, and then I'm going to click where it says Clear Browsing Data here at the top. And here I have some options. I can clear browsing data for the last hour, the last 24 hours, the last week, the last month, or all time. I am going to select all time. And this is the one I'm really trying to look at today, is cookies and other data and cached images and files. That is going to clear up a lot of room and get rid of those websites where they have saved my information. So when I'm ready to do that, I will select Clear Now. And then all of that information will be cleared. Now that I've done this in Edge, I am going to show you how to do it in Google Chrome. So I'm going to go to these three dots up here, and I will select History, and then I will select History from this pop-up menu. Then over here on the left-hand side, I see Clear Browsing Data. So I will click on that. And I see a similar pop-up window. I have my time range here. I am going to select all time. I don't care about browsing history. I am just trying to clear cookies, site data, and then any cached images or files. And then I would select Clear Data. And I'm actually going to show you what this would do. So now that I've cleared that out, if I was trying to navigate to my Facebook page, and let's say I was always logged into my Facebook page, I had my password saved, I would then need to re-enter my password. Same thing for my email. If I go here to my Gmail, let's say I was always logged in on this device, I'm going to need to re-enter that as well. So just something to keep in mind. And then finally, here we are on Mozilla Firefox. I'm going to clear my cache here as well. I'm going to go to this three-line menu, select History, and then Clear Recent History. Then I have that same looking window here with the time frame on it. And then I can select the things I want to clear. I'm not so concerned about browsing history. I'm just trying to clear my cookies and my cache. But these things might be good to clear as well. And then I would select Clear Now. Okay, our third tip for the day is be aware of built-in antivirus software. Now, using antivirus software is a good way to keep your computer safe from all sorts of bad things that can infect your computer and attempt to steal your information. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about purchasing third-party antivirus software, but I will briefly show you a library resource that you can use to do research on different antivirus software programs, and that is Consumer Reports. So from our web page here, I'm going to go to our Research and Learning tab, and there are multiple ways to find most of our resources. But today, to find Consumer Reports, I am going to select Browse Subjects, and then you can actually find it under the Health and Well-Being card. And they have product reviews of all sorts of things. And you have free access to this with your Mid-Continent Public Library card. I'm going to select More Info, and then go down here where it says Go to Consumer Reports. I will need to enter my library card number and my last name. Once I do that and select the blue Submit button, I will be taken to the resource. And then once I am on the Consumer Reports webpage, if I select Electronics and then hover over the Digital Security and Privacy heading over here, I will see antivirus software under the ratings and reviews. And from there, I can look for antivirus for Windows computers or for Mac computers. I'm going to take a look at the Windows real quick. And here I could look at all the ratings they gave to various antivirus software things and decide which one is best for my needs, whether that is because of the price or the brand or just any of these various reasons that you might want a particular antivirus over another. Now, even without one of these antivirus software programs, your computer is not necessarily completely exposed. Windows computers do come with built-in security called Windows Security, and this includes Windows Defender, which is an antivirus software. And we can take a little look at that within our settings of our Windows computer here. So I'm actually going to go down to my Start menu and click on Settings. This is not within a website, this is just within our computers. And then from here, if I go to Update and Security, and then if I go over here to Windows Security, this just kind of briefly tells me about the security I have built into my computer without any other antivirus software. There's not a whole lot you can do within this. I'm just letting you know that this is something that you have that will keep your computer safe. And Mac computers, MacBooks, have a very similar software that is called XProtect. So I'm just wanting you to know that even without buying another antivirus software, you are not completely exposed. You do have this Windows Defender software. For our fourth tip, we are going to talk about limiting permissions given to websites. So earlier we talked about how websites are kind of tracking our movement and our information as we use them. And so I'm going to show you how you can limit the permissions given to websites within the different web browsers. And this could be permissions to your microphone, your camera, your photos, or all kinds of different things. We're going to go back to a web browser. This is Google Chrome. We will select our three-dot menu. I am going down to Settings, Privacy and Security, and then here in the middle of our screen, we can see Site Settings. And this lets us know which websites have permissions to various elements of our computer. So if I click on that, we see some recent activity. We can see permissions, who can look at our location, who can use our camera, our microphone. Let's first look at locations. So it looks like we don't have any websites that know our location. If we had any, they would appear down here. And up here we have options to have the site ask for our location. Here we have camera. We can see the different websites that have access to our camera. And here we see down here that these couple different zoom things have permission to our camera. I am okay with those, so I'm going to leave it. And if I wanted to, I could remove one of these by clicking the trash can symbol next to that. And that would then not allow them to access my camera, and they would have to ask permissions. You see this a lot when you join a Zoom meeting or some other kind of video conferencing thing. very likely they will ask to use your camera or your microphone. It's good to have an idea which of those websites are using that. And similar features like this exist within Edge and Firefox. Within Microsoft Edge, I go to my three-dot menu. I am going down to Settings. Over here on the left-hand side, I have Cookies and Site Permissions. And that is where I see some of those things that we just saw in Chrome, such as location, camera, my microphone as well. Now within Mozilla Firefox, I am going to go to my three-line menu. I will go down to Settings. And then over on the left-hand side, I have Privacy and Security settings. And then down here, I see my permissions as well. I can select the permissions that I give to sites for my location, camera, and microphone. Our final tip is to limit location and information given to apps. So next we are going to look at a tablet and see how we can limit some of the information that apps might have. I am on an iPad, and I am going to go up to my settings area. And within settings, I am going to scroll down until I see privacy and security. And from there, I can go ahead and look at my location services. And down here, I can see the apps that know my location. So I can see my camera app and my maps app. And let's go ahead and check out this one. This is my registry. I have options here to select whatever I am comfortable with. Maybe I want certain apps to only know my location while I'm using them. Maybe there are other apps that I don't think should ever have access to my location. Or maybe there are some that I want to always have access to my location information. There's also tracking. And these apps kind of track you as you navigate across other companies' apps and websites. See, I had no idea this app was doing that. It's just a scanner app, so there's really no reason they should have access to all of that. So I can easily switch that off, and they won't be able to track me. Back here under Location Services, I can turn off all my locations if I want to. This disables location for all of my apps, which I might want to consider before doing. Some apps are heavily reliant upon that, like a GPS app. Also under here, we do have access settings. So here under Photos, I can see the apps that have access to my photos. And I could modify the access that they have. They could have access to all my photos, select photos, or none of them. Same thing under Camera. These apps are able to access my camera, but I can easily switch those off if I don't want them to have access to my camera anymore. And that is it for today. These are 5 internet safety tips that you should keep in mind while you are using your computer or your tablet and smartphone. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to follow our MCPL 360 Facebook page. We premiere new videos every Wednesday and Friday at 1 p.m. And if you miss the premiere on Facebook, you can watch all of our videos on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our MCPL Mo YouTube channel. This has been Brad. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.